Alright guys, welcome to the first game storytelling workshop. Uh, let's just go around and introduce ourselves like uh, like what kind of stuff we write, if we write, like besides like the whole usual like what our names, like major, like our year and stuff. So I'm Dan. I'm a second year comp sci major. But like, pretty much all of you except one person know that. And I write a lot of sci-fi stuff on the side.
Hi, I'm Jinho. I'm a second year undeclared. And yeah, I haven't really written since like last year.
Well, what did you write last time?
That's for a class, like a creative writing class.
Like, what kind of stuff do you like prefer to write?
I guess like fantasy and sci-fi.
I'm Alexis Menace. I'm the only anthropologist in this club. I'm a fourth year. And let's see, what sort of stuff do I like to read? Yeah, I'll probably have to go with fantasy as well. Who wants to read realistic stuff?
I'm Tommy. I'm a first year comp sci major, and sort of the things I like to. I don't know. I just attended this. I thought it'd be interesting. I'm not sure what I write. I think I write like maybe like I don't know, English essays. I don't know. Like it's been a long time since I've written anything.
That's fine.
Hi, I am Amy. I am a psych and art major or something. And I write nothing. I'm just kidding. I write, I guess, fantasy?
Okay.
I guess, yeah, sure. Let's go.
So I'm Hasiel. I'm a fourth year computer science major. And I have not written anything in I don't know how many years, but I'm ready to learn.
Wow.
I was going to combine willing and ready, and I got like a combination. Oh well.
Hi, Kevin.
Okay, my name is Kevin. I'm a third year computer science student, and I have not written anything ever. I don't think so. Well, for English 1B, yeah. After that, not really.
Okay.
Wait, you haven't taken 1C?
No, yeah. I thought it was engineering.
180W.
Oh,
Yeah.
Have fun
Alright.
with that.
We're gonna start off with an exercise. What do each of you think is a game with a good narrative or a strong world or strong characters? And let's just go around like this way. So starting with you, Kevin.
Good narrative? Or what was the question?
Like just good storytelling.
Good storytelling. Well, there shouldn't be like an exposition dump at the beginning.
No, I mean what do you think is an example?
An example?
Yes. What game do you think is a good example of it? Yeah. Like you can just throw one out. Like your favorite game, your game that you recently played and you like the story of.
Well, the game I'm playing right now is Legend of the Heroes Trails of Cold Steel. And that has a story. And I think it's presented really nicely. It's not like they give you all the details at once. Like they kind of slowly feed it to you. Like, okay, this is the world, these are the characters. And they like slowly tell you, okay, this is the enemy, and then this is why you're involved in this battle. And I think good pacing is what makes a good story.
I guess for me, I gotta go with Shadow of the Colossus, because the game that I think has really good storytelling by using minimal words, like as few words as possible to tell it just through actions and like you're just progressing through what should be a very simple game. You just go and kill bosses, but like every time you defeat a boss, you feel like you're getting closer and closer to some sort of climax in the story.
Mm-hmm.
As for me, I just say Nier Automata. Just from the demo itself, it doesn't really say anything about the characters. It just kind of places you in the
like all of like the different like timelines, and it's like even if you do something really small, it's like it's kind of like you see like the developer like thinking I know you would do that or something, and it's like they have something for like some specific actions. It's like so cool.
My next go, if I were to say like as a skill, I mean it's all about minimal dialogue. Dark Souls. Completely saw there's Shadow of the Colossus. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
But honestly, for a game I really like, probably the most recent God of War. I think he does a really good job because one thing he likes to do is avoid clutter. There's two central characters. The side characters that do appear are reoccurring, and there's very few of them in total. And so you don't have to think of too many other characters. And it all really just focuses on Kratos being a dad, Atreus being a son, and their relationship with each other. Everything revolves around that aspect. No part of the game and its story revolves around anything else. So I think it's really good.
For me, like a game with good story, I think would be Frostpunk, because I felt like it did a really good job of just establishing it, sort of the atmosphere and how the world sort of feels, without even like just explaining it necessarily, and just it really made it feel like your actions had a lot of consequences.
And so, like, as a go around, like asking people this, like, you can kind of see that not everyone has the same idea of what a good story is per se. And that's not really what I'm here to do in this workshop. I'm not here to tell you why things are good stories. I'm just here to tell you how you can make a story and how you can do it through games. Because games are an interactive medium. You can do things that aren't possible in books, in movies, and comics. Because just inherently, they have multiple senses involved, and that you can just, the whole concept of being interactable adds another dimension to it. And so, let's, do we have a marker? We did not have markers.
A lot of erasers, but not a single marker.
Well,
I mean, they got to sleep.
Yeah, sure.
Nah. So, I was just going to go around again. And so, from the games that you talked about, right? So what specific thing does it do? Like, what component of its storytelling do you think it does really well? So we'll go around like this side.
Oh, like for me, I feel like the biggest advantage like games have in storytelling is they get interactive stuff in your. So that's why I feel like Frostpunk did a good job, because it really felt like your choices mattered in the story. Because for other stuff like visuals or like dialogue and stuff, you can do that in like movies and stuff too. So that's why, yeah, I think Frostpunk had a good story.
I'd actually like to shoot down the idea that games are mostly about the player choice aspect, because if you've ever read like Goosebumps, there are decision trees in books as well. Like skip ahead to this page, based on your decision, yeah. Games can do a lot more than that. For me, it's conveying a piece of the story through its mechanics. Simply put, like, trying to think of a good example. Sometimes, like, if you play as a robot character to show malfunctioning, your HUD disappears. Like, you lose vital information for your character or something. Doing things like that only a game can do, I think, is its greatest advantage. Not just things that games are more likely to do.
As for me, like, I think the thing about underself stories, like the sheer amount of like depth. It's like you could make a choice to like, I don't know, like slaughter everybody or like be friends with everybody, and then the story and the overall like atmosphere of the game is very different depending on which like route you can choose and stuff like that. So I guess it's like just the sheer depth. I really enjoy that.
I guess for me, it was like, what was the question?
Like what specific thing about like how it does its story stands out to you?
I guess like how much time you spend with the protagonist. It gets you to like really care about them. So then by the end of the game, you really hope that they'll succeed in what they're doing. So like there's something like with games is that not like you're not playing as them, but you're following their journey every step of the way, which is something you can't really do in like movies or whatnot because they're trying to entertain you. I mean games are entertaining as well, but you're stuck with the protagonist the whole time through. So people start caring about the characters because of that.
I guess like for me it's just it's the fact that you're the person playing the story. You're kind of deciding how to go about it. Like, yeah, there's the aspect of like player choice, but there's also the fact that like even like the smallest of actions are just kind of like you're the one who did that. In a game or a book, or not in a game, in a movie or a book, you're watching what someone else has decided for that outcome. But like in a game, you can go, oh, I could kill this guy, or I could just keep running, and that's just kind of like a subtle, I guess like. Design for a game that they can choose, because in a movie you just have to watch, in a book you just read, which yeah, there was what Alexis brought up earlier about the a book can also provide alternate routes, but you're just kind of reading what someone else has already put down for you. Games can also present not just big choices but little choices as well.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that question.
Well, what was the game that you chose as an example?
Trails of Cold Steel? I can't pinpoint what exactly makes that story good. Like, I don't know.
Alright, that's
Yeah.
fine.
I just want to put something in quickly.
Sure.
I just noticed that everyone's saying choices. What about games with story? You're not allowed to change it. You just play it. The
Yeah,
story is
that's-
what it is. Does it suck?
That's fine.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
why is choice always being brought up? Does that inherently make a story good?
We're talking about what we think makes the story.
Yeah.
Just,
I don't know. For me, the
You're
biggest thing is
attacking
like
my opinion.
Exactly.
No, the biggest thing for me is like when a game is like no matter what choices you do, it's always the same story. To me, like I don't really like those kind of games because they always felt more like you're just watching cutscene after cutscene. It's like more like a movie.
Even if it has no cutscenes?
Or even if there's no cutscene, it still feels more like you're following like a linear path, and it feels more kind of like a movie where you sort of press buttons.
You hate Super Mario. Hate the Legend of Zelda.
Well, I mean, what's the story in that? You just go and like rescue someone,
Alright, how
but
about
you're the
Legend
one
of
who
Zelda?
decides
So-
how you go about it.
I'm gonna stop this here.
Sorry.
Unfortunately.
I apologize.
But Hasio, not
I'm Alex.
Alex does make a point where linear isn't always bad. In that, if you want to tell a cohesive story, then it's infinitely easier to control how the player experiences things through the linearity of it. And so now I'm just gonna like go really basic and talk about like the very just low level ways you can convey a story in a game. So obviously you have words. Very different ways that you can use your words. So you have the what we talked about, like cutscenes, right? Where you temporarily lose control. But as a game designer, you're in the driver's seat in how you want your player to experience your cutscene. So you have control over camera work, like what things happen at what time, and so on and so forth. And so it can like put people in for a ride, but at the same time it can also break up the flow of the game. So like if you just got out of like a battle or something, and then you're immediately thrown into a cutscene. It's kind of like sometimes it can feel like a reward. Like, oh man, I just did this. I get to watch like this person like get beaten up by my character. Or it can feel like oh god, why do I have to watch this cutscene again and again and again? Like, at what point do I just watch a movie? Like, as you guys were criticizing. But you also have things like dialogue, which kind of falls under like the curtain, not the curtain, the umbrella of cutscenes-ish. But it's like more character-centered. So like, probably in like the RPG game that you mentioned, right? Like there's a lot of dialogue happening. And it expands on how the characters interact with each other, how they interact with the world. And sometimes like games take it to another level where you have like branching dialogue, where sometimes it matters, and sometimes all of them say join GameSpawn. And the third way is, well, not the third way, but like another way. It's just like how you were mentioning how Dark Souls does it, where it does it like through the items that you can find in the game. Like I just put up like a meme text of an item that doesn't exist, but it's just like part of the story nonetheless. And so like stuff like that, you can have almost like emergent storytelling where it feels like the player's discovering it for themselves. Whereas a cutscene, it's like you're in control, like you as the game designer is in control with stuff like item text, with like world text, stuff like that. You leave it for the player to discover, and it feels like, oh man, I stumbled upon this like piece of the story that maybe I wouldn't have found if I just like ran past everything. And it feels like a bit more special to them. And so beyond just words, beyond just the story, you have the visuals, you have the world around your story, the setting. And so it all contributes to like the general feel you get from the game. And so like in Nier, for example, you have all these concrete jungles and all these natural landscapes. But a common theme in all of them is that you're out there in the world like alone.
It's also like apocalyptic.
Yeah, like it feels like a wasteland. And another thing to note about Nier is how the characters are dressed up, how the characters mimic humans, about how they're not actually people, but visually they look like people. And there's a common theme there of imitation, where there's the androids trying to copy people, and there are machines trying to act like people. And it all comes together to a sort of motif of imitation. And that can help drive home like a point in your story where, like, I don't know if you guys care about Nier Automata spoilers.
Maybe people were recording right.
Just skip
Skip
like,
ahead.
Skip ahead like 20 seconds.
That's the probably still use it. Otherwise, you
Uh.
Do it, just say it very vaguely,
I guess.
Where like it's revealed that like you and the things that you're fighting are more connected than you thought. because you're all just imitating a similar thing. Yeah. And then you have like less maybe story-wise, but more like an environment feel-wise. You have the designs of like the ancients in Breath of the Wild. So normally, you have these like breathtaking landscapes, right? You have these cliffs. You have these like you're subject to the elements. Except when you get to these automations, these puzzle rooms, these ancient devices, all with strange markings and artificial lighting that you don't see anywhere else. And these things shoot lasers at you. These things like they chase you down, and they give a sense of like, do these things like actually belong in this world? Like, do they?
Show a video.
I don't have a video on here, but don't worry about it. But in like, not this isn't in a storytelling sense, but in a like a setting sense, where all of this combines to give a feel of like these things are like otherworldly beings, and you should treat them seriously. And now we're gonna go over some audio. So I'm gonna play like, this is like 3 minutes. I'll play like a minute of it. I'll play like a clip of audio from the game. And I want you guys to tell me afterwards, like, what feeling, what image, what story do you get in your head from the music? Let me see. None of boots after this. How do I exit out of this? Alright. How was that thing? Oh no! Spoilers! Tell me about it. You didn't see any.
Alright then.
It wasn't spoiling then.
Alright, so then I guess we'll go around. Starting with Kevin this time? What image did you get from that? Like what kind of feel from that? Like if you could describe the story of the music in 10 or less words.
Oh god, 10 minutes. Is this a movie?
Oh god.
Really?
Like that.
I guess I got a sense of like exploration, like you're exploring something new. So it's also kind of like wistful. So I guess something like new, but not like dangerous. It's kind of just like you're like, oh, okay, I've never seen this before. This looks like a cool place I want to check around or something like that.
I mean, I could be biased by the picture, but it sounded pretty fantasy. Like there was probably like magic
like it's like like it's a little bit like repetitive. It's I'm not sure.
That's right. There's like football penguins in this. So protagonist explores woodland village and finds something inherently magical.
That was
That was literally what I said, but in 10 words.
That was in 10 words.
Probably good.
Yeah, your computer probably gonna die. And the recording will cut out.
Do you
Well
have-
started.
Yeah, how much? Go ahead, Chinna.
Making us sense to me in the song was a couple of the first shifts in tone or like the music. Like when I went to like lower notes, it sounded kind of ominous to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the making it stood out to me. Half the parts of the song was early on, when it shifted, it sounded like more ominous, like there was something more mysterious or something.
I guess the screenshot doesn't really do it justice now that I think about it. But it's just, it's basically the woodland where magical things happen, as you described. But you can see like how you can just have that description from a single song. From like that what, minute and 30 seconds-ish? What like gives you the image of, okay, this is like a whimsical place. This is a place that's magical, a place that's like a forest, a place that maybe not a lot of people have seen before, but you're here and you're discovering it. That's basically what the place is in the game.
I sent you a video
Of what?
of the garden.
You can watch it after.
Okay, what?
And then lastly, you have the gameplay, of course. You have of course, Undertale. But what I want to note specifically is how you use your gameplay systems to show personality, to show story. And so, like, in the scene, the boss you're fighting, Torio, like, does anybody not know, like, Undertale at this point? But, like, she doesn't want to hurt you. She's like goat mom. And the whole, like, nature of this battle enforces that feeling of that she doesn't want to hurt you. So half of her attacks, like just spray off the screen and don't even hit you. Where like you have to be trying, you have to run into them to be hit by them. And even further to the point, like even if you do get hit, it like any hit will only bring you to 1 health. And only then will you die. And the entire fight is like laden with her talking about, oh, let's just give up, just not fight anymore. And it's just all coming together to reinforce the idea of like, this person really, really doesn't want to hurt you. And yeah, it's an obvious sentiment. Like, it's obvious like when you play it. But designing it in that way takes some prior thought. And you can also go in the opposite direction, wherein that your gameplay, things you're doing in game, doesn't really match up with the story at all, where it doesn't feel consistent. And you might think that's a really, really big problem, but honestly, it's not that big. Like have you thought about all the RPGs that you played where you beat up like faceless dudes? Like, obviously murdering people is bad, but it's just kind of like, hey, you beat up people for XP. And the story doesn't really address that at all. And the idea, I guess, I'm trying to convey here is there's a sort of magnitude to the things you're putting in your gameplay. So, like, beating up faceless people, I wouldn't say is okay, quote unquote, but it's like, it's inconsequential. But like fighting someone that you've been building up to, that has come up against you time and time again, like, if that doesn't match up with the story, like, if that battle doesn't match up with the story, then you're going wrong. Like, for example, like, if your character is trying to be like, no, I don't want to kill you or something, and then you just go all out and fucking destroy this character that you've spent all story trying not to hurt, then you're doing something. But that's kind of obvious. And just that's basically all the methods I wanted to cover today. And in future weeks, we're just going to go over in more specific detail how a game accomplishes its story. So like how does Undertale accomplish like its player choice? How does for example, Shadow of the Colossus or Journey accomplish its storytelling without actually giving you any line of dialogue? And today was just meant as a like, all right, this is what we can do. This is what like you're capable of. But again, I'm not really here to police you and say like, this is obviously good, this is obviously bad, because it's gonna be subjective in what you want to accomplish with your game. So like the whole, like earlier this workshop about player choice, about like oh, I want my actions to have meaning. Like, sure, you can have that, but sometimes a story doesn't work with all that much player choice. Like when you boil down Undertale's story, it's kind of just, do you kill things or not kill things? And it's very binary. Like I'm just like reducing it for the sake of argument. But when you add player choice, the complexity of your story like rises dramatically. And that it is obvious, but it's a thing to note where where you have to decide what has consequences, what branches off, and what do you want to have like visible to the player, where like you need to have feedback. But that's going into game design. And I guess one thing I'll leave you guys off on is the video. Where is that? Oh, I'm gonna have to reveal my Discord to the stream? Oh no! Oh wait, no, I can just do this. Wait, no? I can't. Oh no! Okay. Evie. Yeah. Yeah.